What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into it. Here to bring you an NFL discussion video on the debate we thought was closed a couple weeks ago. Now it's back open, or will be probably by season's end, depends on how things end out. But the debate between the top two quarterbacks in the 2023 NFL draft, Bryce Young versus CJ Stroud. Let's get into it, man. So, as a Bryce Young's truther, and I've said it early this season as well when he got benched and all that stuff. I was sad. I was down. I'm not a Panthers fan. I'm a Falcons fan. So he's in my division. He's a rival, but I like individual players also. And I was very big on Bryce Young prior to the 2023 draft. Even last year's struggles, prior to this year, last year's struggles, still believed in him. And obviously new coach, spent money on the O line. We already know what happened already. First couple weeks wasn't ideal for us Bryce Young truthers, but overall that benching did help. Getting time to sit back, learn, realize, and just calculate his next moves. Bryce Young, ever since coming back, Bryce Young coming back as a starter. That is, Bryce Young has looked good. He's looked good. He looked solid. But versus the former champs or the reigning champs in Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time champs, who, it was an impressive showing. They didn't win the matchup. He did have the game-tying drive where they tied the game up, and Pat Mahomes did come out with the victory. I was impressed because of Steve Spagnuolo defense, all that good stuff. But I said it prior to the season. I'll say it again now. I didn't really think the Chiefs were that good defensively. I know their numbers are good and all that good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I'm glad he did it. But I don't think the Chiefs are as good as people think, especially not their DBs. But another story for another day. I'm glad he showed up. He showed up. He showed out, and he's been playing well since being the starter again. Now you go to the other side and go to CJ Stroud, who had a phenomenal first year, broke a lot of records, Offensive Rookie of the Year, led his team to the playoffs, all that great stuff. Coming into this year, and funny thing is, CJ Stroud and the Texans were my pick for the AFC title game. That same video where I said the Chiefs will not three-peat, and I gave you reasons why. The Texans and Packers were my matchups. Now that's not the case now. I'm gonna ride out with it, but I don't think that happens now. It's still possible. Both teams should get in the playoffs, but I don't think that's gonna happen now. Jordan Love not playing consistent, and Stroud definitely isn't either. But going on more onto Stroud, it's alarming. It's surprising. Him and his OC Bobby Slowick, both guys had a awesome summer. Both guys were talked about a whole lot. Slowick was in line to get a couple of head coaching jobs, got some interviews. Um, even my Falcons, I wanted him to be a candidate. I didn't want him to get it. I wanted Ben Johnson or another guy, but I wouldn't mind us talking to Bobby Slowick or even thinking about getting him because I wanted a young offensive mind. And Slowick was hot as fish grease. He's one of the young OCs. I think first year last year, everything looked good for him and Stroud and also for D'Amico Ryans. But this year, Stroud and Slowick both have been struggling for some odd reason. And looking like the sophomore slump is hitting both of those guys, the coach and a young quarterback. Stroud's looking awful. I know the O line isn't playing up to par like they were last year, but even still, that comes with territory. When Bryce Young had the same issue or other quarterbacks have the same issue, people want to overlook that and just, all that good stuff. And when Stroud gets it, we gotta hold him accountable. Some plays he's trying to play hero ball, like today versus the Titans, back breaking, game changing, game ending move, going out for that safety in his own end zone. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And stuff like that, and it just culminated the whole season at one moment. Stroud is talented still, obviously. Only been a year. When he's been a starter now, but for some reason, since the season started, Stroud hasn't looked sharp. Even when everyone was healthy, start the year, like I said, I had the Texans going to the Super Bowl. I felt that good about them. I felt that good about Stroud. And I even said in my video, the Packers Texans prediction video, before the season started, I said in that video that even if Stroud took a step back, he'll still be good enough with the weapons. Diggs hurt, obviously, but Diggs, Schultz, Mixon, all those guys, Collins, Tank Dell, I thought he'd be good enough. And even when Diggs was around, or if he's around now, still, I think Stroud just don't have it for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if his off season wasn't up to par, because he was everywhere. He was public everywhere. He was with Michael Parsons everywhere. You turn your head. He was, celebrity basketball games. He was everywhere you could just pop up. Stroud is there. Podcast with Michael Parsons doing at the hospital. Anything you've seen, you turn on TV, sports related, he's doing it. I don't know why, or he was a Parsons so much. I'm not quite sure, but you know, um, it was good to see him riding high off the rookie year. But having a sophomore year like this is like, man, did you put in the work in? That's the real question we got to look at. And you know, Bryce Young and his fans and his people who believe in him, just like me, I'm here. I raised my own hand. We're feeling good because, yeah, Stroud won the battle. He won the rookie year stuff, all that good stuff. But the war, as far as the debate, who should have went first? Panthers selecting Bryce Young, that was heavily talked about, obviously last year, and also the start of this year looked like the Panthers were wrong. The Texans got a steal in the best QB in the draft class, but now looking like we don't know. We definitely don't know now. Young is coming into form. Team wasn't good yet, but as far as individual quarterback play, Young's taking hits. Young's moving around better now, has more pocket awareness, getting the ball out quicker, faster, a little more accurate. Everything's from Bryce Young. I'm scared to say it, but I'm gonna say his teammate said it. I forgot his name. The linebacker said it post game conference, but he's looking like Alabama Bryce Young. He's looking like Alabama Bryce Young. And I said back then when I was talking about Bryce Young going to the draft, I thought he could be generational. Now, was I wrong? Probably so, but I still think there's a good chance, it's looking like it, that Bryce Young could definitely be a top 15, top 12-ish quarterback if he were to pan out. Now, it's still early. Like I said, the debate just now getting revived, and that's really because Stroud's having a bad year. Even if Young played up up just like this from the start of the season, if Stroud kept his level, then it'll be no debate still. But Stroud not playing as sharp, even when everyone was healthy, and now with Bryce lost his top weapon, Deontay Johnson, who was traded to the Panthers, now traded again to the Ravens a couple weeks back. Thielen missed most of the season with the injury. He was on IR. So, he's getting guys back, or he got one guy back. Xavier Legette, Croker, some of those young guys has now stepped up. It's like, it's looking good. And now for the future, both guys will need better O line help, especially Stroud. He's getting banged up this year, mostly because his O line. Some because of him too. He's not. His awareness doesn't look as sharp as it did last year. It's just like I said, overall game, the accuracy, decision making, pocket awareness, everything looks down, like it's trending down for C.J. Stroud. With Bryce Young, everything's trending up. He's taking care of the ball more, um, not putting it in harm's way. As far as Stroud, he's doing the total opposite, throwing the ball up in the air, like throwing it in double coverage, errant passes, stuff like that. So, and even some of these games, I forgot what the Panthers versus Saints game when Bryce Young did throw a pick, it wasn't his fault. Clearly the receiver caught, or with the receiver or the running back, and got snatched out of his hands midair. So stuff like that. If you watch the games, you'll see what actually happened. The numbers might show, or the stats might show you, hey, he threw a pick, or he, whatever. But actuality, the game shows something different, and the tape shows something different. As far as the tape goes, the last couple weeks, in a comparison, Bryce Young looked like the number one overall pick, and C.J. Stroud looked like a quarterback that's still developing. So we'll see where it happens. As a NFL fan, as a sports fan, as a person in general, you root for everybody. But like I said, I'm really rooting for the underdog. That's Bryce Young, the guy who was, heralded as, for me personally, the best QB in last year's class or 2023 class. Didn't have a terrible rookie year and a terrible start to the season. For him to bounce back, have the mental maturity, the wherewithal, the comeback, stay professional, keep it going, keep it pushing, and then now playing well, playing great, pushing the defending champs to almost overtime. That's something that last year and even, like I said, earlier this year, we wouldn't have thought could happen with Bryce Young leading the charge. You would think, oh, Pat Mahomes played a terrible game. The defense had a couple pick sixes, fumble recoveries. That wasn't the case. Pat Mahomes threw no interceptions. He had 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and Bryce Young, dueled him pretty well. But 250 plus, I think maybe around 270, but 250 plus, I believe, the play safe with 1 touchdown, no turnovers. Like, it got sacked a couple times, but held in the pocket strong, good awareness, good balls downfield. What else can you ask for? What else can you ask for to play one of the top teams in the league and push them to the end? So that's something that you got to tip your head at. Then on the other side, like I said, CJ Stroud, he dueled with Will Levis and got outdueled there. So it's like, stuff like that is giving you cause to pause on what's going on with Stroud long term. Because, still the talent is still there, obviously, just like, something's going on this year. Is it the play calling? Is it just bad chemistry between him and Slowick? We gotta figure it out, especially for the Texans and Stroud fans. We gotta figure it out because he's looking like a shell of himself already, and his career just started. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.